the things we're doing today is a photo walk. Good turnout. Really excited to see what everybody shoots today. We're going to be headed to Washington Square Park and then up to Union Square Park after that. All right, we got to get this group moving. I'm just saying, we're leaving.
The real question today is, where are the baby pigeons?
Nobody has ever seen a baby pigeon.
It's so true. I've never thought about that. I need to see a picture of a baby pigeon.
Gameboy cameras. It's something I've always wanted to try, but like now, like there's like this resurgence of people rebuilding these cameras, and they're like recoding them and building new cameras to like attach to the Game Boys. I don't know anything about this. We have two people at the meetup today that seem to know a lot about this, so I'm gonna interview them once we get to Washington Square Park. This is BTS of the BTS. I'm gonna interview Alex and Brendan about their Game Boy cameras. I think they're crazy.
But in a positive way that someone could be crazy, not in a crazy way that someone would be crazy.
Slightly positive way.
But with the potential of a question mark where there's like a
I'm glad you got into this and not something else.
Right,
yeah.
Like drugs or something.
What? I met Alex here in a coffee shop. It's cool to have you at the meetup, and yeah.
Long time follower, first time.
Long time listener, first time.
Yeah, something.
First time caller.
Yeah, that's right, first time caller.
How did you get into Gameboy photography?
That's a good question. I think I knew it existed because a friend of mine had one a while ago, so I knew it existed, but I didn't get into it until I think I saw one like Facebook Marketplace, and I bought like a camera and a printer just from someone like upstate New York, and they mailed it to me, and then it started snowballed from there. So this is 2-Bit Toys. This is his sort of moniker, the Camera Plus. And then there's like a little lens, so you can like zoom and all that. Here is the actual sensor on the inside. Inside Gadgets is an Australian fellow who makes a bunch of different stuff, and one of them is basically a programmable Game Boy like a Game Boy cartridge circuit board, and then that basically allows you to store other photos. So basically this circuit board basically has a USB-C, and then I can like plug that into my laptop and get, I think it's like 2,500 photos off. Where am I even pointing? Up there at that building. Then you can change the exposure, so like 10, 12, 15, 20 milliseconds, and then down. This is the assisted mode. The auto mode just has like vertical, and it's like automatic exposure, so there you'll see the exposure it's chosen at the top, and then I can lower the brightness and the contrast into different sort of up, down, left, right modes.
That's so cool. So
the problem is people don't always like you taking photos of their dog.
Oh, that's with any camera.
Well, that's true. Like I was literally walking in the park, and this lady is like, I'm just like, it was literally just like on my neck, like I was walking, and she's like, don't take a picture of me. And I was like, I'm not even yes, it's pointing at you, but you are not the most interesting person in the park. No offense to this lady. If she's watching this, I'm sorry.
Okay, so I have a regular Game Boy at home.
Yes.
Game Boy Color.
Yep.
If I took that cartridge and put it in,
Absolutely.
would it work? It would work?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
This is the Game Boy Color, and I put a new shell on it. This screen has a backlight, but otherwise it's just a Game Boy Color.
This is sick. Thanks for letting me interview you. All right, let's find Brendan. Where did he go? Just look for a tripod with a ton of wires hanging from it. Where is he? That'd be funny clip. Oh, I actually found him. I found him. He's over there. Calvin Wayman, everybody.
I got ideas. I got ideas.
Flash black and white text over the screen. I got ideas.
Good ideas.
All right, Brendan. What's usually like the reaction people give to this?
Nobody gives me a reaction.
Do people ever stop you just to ask you about the Game Boy, or?
I had one person stop me, and it was another photographer.
How did you get into this?
This would have started with modding Game Boys. So getting into swapping the buttons, the shells, the screen, and that was maybe 4 or 5 years ago, maybe like 2 years ago. Got into the camera when I found the community, and they were starting to develop custom software, creating custom mounts for lenses, and it got me excited about using the Game Boy camera.
This looks like a lot of wiring.
This was just like brute force, my obsession with taking 3 photos vertically to get shots of architecture in the city. So before, I had a single camera with a shifting lens, and I would sit there and hold still, shift it manually, take the photos, stitch them. Now it's evolved into 3 Game Boys, 3 sensors. I shift the lenses so they overlap, and then it's all wired so that one Game Boy can control the whole thing. This has become more efficient. Now I'm moving the camera itself around and getting these animated shots. If I start here, I'll hit capture and it's now, there we go. There it goes. It should be all white, and slowly goes to all black. Captures the full range. Take those 25 photos, average them into a full grayscale photo. So there's that one shot, and then I would just start to move it inch by inch.
Do you like the iteration that you have right now, or is this gonna turn into something else?
That's a good question. I thought about a cradle that had all three, so it was easier to see them, or had like a single Game Boy with 3 screens.
Yeah.
But it's like, you start to get into a territory where you really need to know how to design a shell, right? You gotta use like actual like CAD software and make something instead of just hacking it up. Like here I just took the geometry, duplicated it, let them overlap, 3D printed it, and just kind of forced it to work, you know, drilled holes into it to run the wires.
If somebody wanted to get into this, what would be the best way?
I mean, I started with the Game Boy subreddit, and then they had a link to the Discord, and then once you're in the Game Boy Discord, there's a Game Boy camera Discord, and it just starts to get more niche. People there are great, and being able to bounce the ideas off them is great.
It's kind of fascinating, especially like the evolution of Game Boy photography too.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know if this is an evolution. This is like an offshoot. This is like going into a dark place.
this is a mutant.
I don't know if the community like approves of this.
I think once you start getting like that controversy from like a community on like what you're doing to like change the space, I think that's when you're doing something right. Thank you, Jared, for recording. Sometimes you just come to these meetups and you're surprised by who arrives, and definitely being able to see how the Game Boy cameras work and like everything. Like enter like little 11-year-olds, future tech on YouTube searching me is just like screaming at that stuff. One day maybe I'll have one. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool to see them. If you want to come by a Creators NYC meetup, please do. I mean, we always have a great time, and it's always great to have more artists. I think that's all I really wanted to say. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for coming along with me today, and like I hope you watch the next one, even though it's not going to be really about creators. But come by a meetup. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. What a spectacle.
You know,
What is your name?
Leo.
Leo. Great to meet you, Leo. I hope to see you around.